Hello YouTube coin collectors and stackers. Today we're going to crack into this big bag of half dollars and Ike dollars. I went down to my local bank to just do some other business. I had to take care of some other banking, and one of the branch managers said, "Hey, aren't you the guy that does the coins?" And I said, "Yeah, why? You got anything interesting?" He goes, "Well, let me show you." And he brought this big bag out of half dollars and dollar coins, and this is a grungy bag. We're going to go through kind of quick. As you guys that watch the channel know, I like to do these in one take, but I may have to do some editing on this one. This is really my first video going through this kind of stuff, but what's interesting is, you know, we can see that this was essentially brought in from CVS in Los Angeles and brought into the bank. So let's just tear right into it and see. I've been dying to tear into it since I got it. So I'm just going to cut right into it. We're going to open this sucker right up because it's like pretty sealed and stuff, but let's get in here and see what it is we have. There's $268.50 in this bag, and it's grungy. Oh man, it even looked grungy through. Whoa, look at the toning on that. Look at that. That's kind of nuts, actually. The first one I pulled out, 1972 Ike dollar, and that's got some crazy toning on it. It's interesting because look at that. Look at that, all that blue. So I'm going to go through this quickly, but that's a crazy. This is a grungy, dirty bag. Oh my God! Like where's this stuff been? Look at this one. Crazy iridescent blue toning on this 71 half dollar. Man, who knows what we're going to find in here? Look at this. Look at this guy. It's half the toning on that one. Some purple, some orange. Wow, what's that one? A 71. I'll have to go through this later with varieties. Of course, we know we have the Friendly Eagle variety. We have the Type 2, 72 Type 2. But wow, with all this crazy toning, these might be really, really interesting. So see the 72 here. If this was a Type 2, it's called the King of the Ikes. It's really hard to see with this weird toning on. I'll have to look at it more closely later. But of course, you know, when we're digging through this stuff, we're looking for things like 40%. So I wasn't expecting. I just looked at this thing through the friggin' excuse my language, but through the bag, and it just looked really dirty and grungy, and it is. This stuff is filthy. But look at the crazy. Like, where was this? You know, it's some CVS in Los Angeles. Somebody came in to spend these, and well, that one's pretty normal. The last thing I was expecting was to crank out all these toners on this rainbow toners. I think with a little conservation work, right? That's our code word for cleaning. But with a little conservation work, some of these could be some pretty interesting toners, although they all look pretty circulated as well. Again, another one to check for the variety. That doesn't look like the variety there on that one. So the Type 2 variety for the 72 would have a straight line here. And that happened in Denver where they accidentally swapped in reverse for the proof coin onto the circulation strikes, and I think about 100,000 of those were made. Another just weird, crazy toner, Type 2 76 Bicentennial, another 73. Let's just kind of dig in and see if we have anything super interesting on this. Wow, where were these being stored that they would get A, this filthy, and B, this crazy toned? Like here's another one with this purple toning all over it. Blue, purple, another 72. Denver, so we have to check that one. That one's got some crazy, like, what's going on with by Liberty there. Some crazy die crack or something on that one. But obviously, I'm going to go through this one and see what we find related to if there's any 40% halves in here. This is the kind of thing where this stuff is so gnarly that, you know, even the bankers that are in the know about the 40% halves and 40% Ike dollars might miss these, because, you know, who's going to go through all of this? Of course I am. But what's going on with this one? That one's got all sorts of crazy things going on with it. Whoa, a lot of 72s in here. I almost didn't take the bag because it looked so weird grungy, but I'm glad I did now, because I've done a lot of roll hunting. Used to do a lot more of it with my daughter, and I've never seen circulation strike like copper nickel clad coins with this kind of weird crazy toning all over them, and especially in this abundance. Look at this one. Jeez Louise. Wow. I mean, what would even cause that? If you guys could let me know in the comments. I mean, for nickel to tone like this is pretty wild. Let's really dig down in here and see if we find anything super wild. I'm going to pause this video for a moment, and I'm going to bring you back if I find anything crazy wild. So I'm going to pause and dig, and I'll bring you back. All right, well, it took me a while to get through all of that stuff, but for you guys, it was instant. So what did I find? I didn't find any Type 2 Eisenhower 1972 Type 2 dollars. I didn't find any 1971 flying or friendly eagles, rather. I did find one silver. It definitely snuck in here. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Yeah, no wonder it snuck by any sort of detection. It has stuff like glitter glued all over it, but it's a 1968. It is 40% silver. It's definitely a beater, but it is fun and interesting with all of the sparkles and things on it. What I mostly found were just these unbelievably toned coins. And so it's really interesting too, because you know, if you can take a little bit, this is, by the way, this is the filthiest thing I've ever gone through. These coins are so filthy, and cleaning them up, you know, is pretty interesting. So you can even see down below on my pad all the outlines from the filthiness of these coins. But it's so interesting just to see all the crazy colors. Let me just get a bunch out here rather than take them out one by one, just so you can see, like, where the heck were these things stored? You know, all of these crazy colors on these nickel clad coins. Just look at that. It's pretty unreal. And there's just a ton of these. I could just keep pulling them out. You know, I could just keep pulling them out. They just, all this blue and purple on the front and the back. And what's more interesting too is, like, if you were to clean them up a little, which I did, I took a little bit of, like, we can even do one together. Let me pick a good one. This one's interesting, right? It's got, you know, the different colors on it on the back. Really cool. But if I were to take a little bit of acetone, I don't recommend doing this at home without safety goggles and other things. These coins are beaters anyway, so I'm not worried about ruining the value of them. And I'm just rolling the acetone on it just to see what comes off. And you see that the toning is not coming off. There is this strange yellow goo that is coming off of these. That's probably what's all over my hands. But you can see they start to clean up really nice when you start to get some of this filth off them, where they look very, very, very interesting. And let's also take a look at a couple of the Ikes. Before we do, you know, the $268, we had like 3 nice Ikes and 1 nice, nice being circulated, but, you know, passable kind of coins. These are the only 4 decent ones in the whole batch, although some of these toners are just stunning. So let's take a look at some of the cool Ikes I found. Let's see. The Ikes are a little more, but I pulled some cool ones out. Let's see here. Those ones I think better on the back. Yeah, so there you go. Very heavily circulated, obviously, these guys. That one's kind of cool. You know, that one's got some crazy blue on it. And on the back, it's green and purple. And there are no real good varieties in here. Well, this one was pretty interesting. It's got this sort of crescent deal going on it. Back isn't very interesting. And just a lot of this kind of stuff. And I have to take another double check on the varieties too, because some of these are so scuzzy, it's almost impossible to see. Like, so the varieties on the Ike, you're looking at the planet up here and you're looking at the islands. And there's 3 different configurations on the islands for 1972. And as you can see on this one, you can't really see the islands under Florida very well to know if this is a type 1. No, that's a type. That's a type 3. You can see the islands are all to the right of Florida. I'm sorry, type 1. All right, well, that's it. Nothing too exciting. Again, there's just more and more, especially the half dollars. I mean, I could just keep grabbing them all day long. And you can just see. Now, I've never, in all of my coin roll hunting, I wasn't even going in there today looking for anything in particular. I was just going in there to do some other banking, and the branch manager said, you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, aren't you that guy that does the coins? And I said, yeah, do you have anything cool? And he hands me this real scuzzy bag that you saw me open up with all these dirty coins. I never expected to get all these crazy toners in here. I've never even seen this many clad coins toned in this interesting fashion, coming out of a CVS apparently from Los Angeles of all places. So that's my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you've had similar experiences like me, not finding a lot of these crazy toners out in circulation like this, or a whole bag of them like I just found. So that's it. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the thumb further away there. Like and subscribe. And as always, happy collecting.